Hello again, Year 7, it's Mrs. Reed here, and this is our last recorded video lesson before I'll be back in the classroom with you tomorrow. We're going to carry on today learning about rhetoric and persuasion. So can you make sure that is your title, please, and you copy down today's date. You can underline both with a ruler. So once you have done that, then we are ready to think back to yesterday's learning. We've got 5 questions to answer, and we're going to see how much we can recall. It's okay if we've forgotten some things. This bit allows us a really good opportunity to recap our learning before we build on it with anything new. You can write the numbers 1 to 5 in the margin of your page. And then you can write short answer responses to numbers 1, 2 and 3. Numbers 4 and 5 do require you to write sentences out in full and to fix them up where you can see there's a problem. Pause the video and spend 5 minutes completing that task. As soon as we're ready, we can go through and mark our answers. If you have a different colour pen, that can be really helpful for fixing up any that you've missed out or perhaps you need to change. Okay, so let's look at question 1. It asked us, what is democracy? So democracy is a system of government by the whole population where we get to elect representatives who form our government. A simple way to remember what democracy means, though, is through its origins. I always think of the phrase people power when I think of ideas of democracy. Democracy was founded in ancient Athens. Okay, check your answers for 1 and 2. Give yourself a tick if you got them right, or fix up if you need to. Number 3 asks, what is rhetoric? We learned yesterday that rhetoric was the art of persuasive speaking. So when we give a speech and we use techniques in order to persuade our audience that our point of view is right, that means we are using rhetoric. Number 4, this was a sentence you needed to find and fix. Okay. So the first thing I can see here is that there were some capital letters missing. We needed to add a capital A to the name Aristotle because it is a proper noun. We also needed to add a capital S to the word sophists, another proper noun. There's one thing missing here though, so well done if you also spotted. We need a comma in this text. Okay, can you see it there? Although Aristotle was critical of the sophists, comma, he wrote a book called The Art of Rhetoric. We must use a comma after a part that starts although. Okay, number 5. Number 5 already had capital letters for proper nouns, look, Britain and America, but it misspelt the word democracies. Yesterday we looked at when we need to change the ending of words, and we said if there was a consonant before the Y, then we needed to change the ending of a plural form of that word to IES. Well done if you got that right. You can give yourselves a mark out of 5. Okay. So our big questions today are, what are the 3 appeals of rhetoric? And what is ethos? So the Greek philosopher Aristotle, in his book called The Art of Rhetoric, identified that there were 3 main components or parts of a persuasive argument. These are collectively known as something called the Aristotelian Triad. Now, that's quite a big and tricky word to say. I can say it easily now because I've had lots of practice, Aristotelian. But to start with, it makes sense to break it down. So we're going to practice saying the word aloud. I'm going to break it down into its different parts. Aristotelian. Okay, Aristotelian. And the second part, triad. Triad. So we're going to say it together now, broken down into those parts. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Aristotelian triad. Good. I'm going to pass over to you to have a go on your own. Your teacher can help you here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, when you've got that, we're going to have a go at saying all of those letters together. Aristotelian. Aristotelian. Okay, let's say that together, everyone. Ready? Aristotelian. Aristotelian. Good. Over to you to say it on your own. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to try it with the word triad. Let's see if we can say Aristotelian triad. Ready? Together. 3, 2, 1. Aristotelian triad. Over to you on your own. 3, 2, 1. All right. We'll come across that word lots as we go through this unit. So don't worry if you found it tricky today, it gets much easier over time. Right. So what does the Aristotelian triad look like? Well, it has 3 appeals. We have the idea of logos, meaning logic and reason and truth. So Aristotle thinks that a good argument, a persuasive argument, should be logical. We have ethos. This is about credibility and trust. So Aristotle thinks in order to persuade your audience, they must trust you and think that what you're saying is truthful and credible. Finally, we have pathos, and this is about emotions and values. So Aristotle thinks that using our emotions and appealing to people's emotions and values is a really persuasive way to bring them round to your way of thinking. Okay, we're going to pause here and spend some time drawing ourselves the Aristotelian triad in our exercise books. Can you do that really nice and neatly now, please? Brilliant. So we're going to learn about ethos. Remember, ethos was about credibility and trust. So when you're trying to persuade somebody, we need to think about, well, who do we want to present ourselves as to that person? What is the public persona that we're going to convey that says that we are a credible and trustworthy person that should be listened to? And this is really important. How you present yourself in the first kind of few moments of your speech is really the foundation upon which everything else is built. It can establish a connection between the speaker and the audience, and then it helps to steer how that speech will be received. So, your audience needs to believe that you are 4 things. They need to believe you are trustworthy, that you're knowledgeable about your subject, that you are genuine and you care, and that you are a good person. If we start from this point, we're likely to be more persuasive. Okay, let's pause here again, and we're going to write a list of the 4 things that your audience needs to believe that you are. Okay, so we're aiming to persuade the audience that we are one of them, yeah? That your interests and their interests are the same. They are identical. Okay, so the next question is, how do speakers create a strong ethos? How do speakers ensure that they come across as a good person who is knowledgeable and trustworthy? One way we can do that is through the use of personal pronouns. A personal pronoun can be singular, like I, or you. And a personal pronoun can also be plural, like we, us, or our. We don't need to write this down, but we are going to put this into practice. We're going to practice saying some sentences with personal pronouns, and then we're going to practice identifying them in a text. So using the second person pronoun, you, can be a really good way to get your audience's attention. It shows that you care about them because you're talking to them directly, and it shows your audience that you are acknowledging them, which is really respectful. If I wanted to create ethos using the second person pronoun, you, I might say, this would not have been possible without the hard work that you have put in. Can you see here, but when I emphasize the word you, I'm making it really personal to my audience. Let's say that again. This would not have been possible without the hard work that you have put in. Okay, I'd like you to turn to a partner and say that sentence. Make sure you really emphasize the word you when you say it. Off you go. Okay, so using the second person pronoun you can be a good start. However, another way to build ethos is through the use of a personal plural pronoun. Those are words like we, us, and our. Using them tells your audience that we are a team and I am one of you. So, for example, I might say, we all want the same thing. We all want to take care of our environment. Can you see that when we emphasize those personal plural pronouns, we're trying to create a sense that we are all one, we are united. I'll say that one more time, and then I want you to turn to a partner and say that sentence again. We all want the same thing. We all want to take care of our environment. Okay, turn and talk. Make sure you emphasize those pronouns. Excellent. Now we want to have a go at identifying them in a text that's designed to be persuasive. What we're going to do here are two things. The first is we're going to copy down the sentences exactly as they appear on the screen. When we have done that, we are going to underline or circle, or use a highlighter if you have one, the personal pronouns that are talking directly to our audience, or to the audience. You can see I've picked out the first word, our, at the beginning. Pause the video, copy the text, identify the personal pronouns.